that's it from me, I think.
Well, no prediction this time, but I think we can get our analysts get away with that, because they had to endure this drafting. And now it's more time for Rebel and Clockwork and Game 2 on the Rift.
Bum 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 bum. Do I really have to do this, Clockwork?
Of course.
All right.
Welcome,
Bum bum
crewmates.
bum 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 bum. Is that better?
Welcome, crewmates to the MSS VCS. There's one. Okay, they won't let me do it.
Glory is an imposter. Okay, Yujin flashing. He's gonna try to find something. We're just like, as soon as we try to do a content bit, they just ruin everything, man. They're not courteous of us in the slightest here at the VCS.
Absolutely uncooperativeness of this league. I just wanted to guess who was the Hex Flash imposter in this game. It seems that we have none. So far, I was betting on Yijin. He already flashed, so he's not the one. So not ejected.
Correct.
Anyway, the analyst desk focused a lot on this Gwen for good reasons, but at the same time, we have again the Azir and the Sivir on the side of Wales. So if you're me, if you're Clockwork, and you want to stay in this broadcast until a grand total of 200 minutes have been played, this is what you want to see. Okay, it's Talia on the other side, it's Zeri on the other side, so there's a lot of late game action, post 40 minutes, Dota style mishmash. So yeah, we love that.
I think it would be crazy for a game to go that long. Our analyst desk has kind of propped this up that like it's really tough to recover, and I do wonder if we get a game where we end up at 30 minutes and the gold is basically even, we're at like 2 dragons, maybe 3 dragons apiece, something like that. This game is going to be really exciting. The alternative is that it's very bad and that one team basically just wins from very, very early on. And so how does that fall in your system here, right? Like how do you believe the balance or the scale ends up tipping in a game like this? As really quickly, Yijin is going to try to bully Killer Queen, but with no flash, this feels a lot more. I don't know.
Queen?
This is a fight. At minimum, Killer Queen's got cooldowns to be able to utilize. Should be able to get to the blast cone relatively easily. This is the really powerful thing about the Trundle into the Poppy matchup, is Poppy has no way to block anything with the W, and Poppy can't really take the auto-attracting battle against Trundle because Trundle is Trundle, which makes it difficult. However, Coded is on the wraparound. Yijin is on top of a ward. Could be a steal coming through from Killer Queen. He's going to be able to find it. He does get the red buff, actually, and with the Buckler, actually might have the health necessary to win the fight against Yijin. Yijin's going to bounce, as Yijin's time is completely wasted here on the engage against the Poppy. Everything that he wanted to accomplish just kind of got the door slammed in his face.
And he's behind 2 camps at this point, which is really, really punishing. Now, if I'm Killer Queen, you know, I am on the same wavelength of Killer Queen.
Yeah.
If I'm him, I would invade him at blue buff. That would be the absolute Chad move to, you know, double slap and double down on this early advantage. So I want to see that. I want to track Killer Queen. Look, he's moving in. No, he's recalling.
Yes. Okay, bottom lane, we actually get a bit of a scrap as Biob. He's going to go down. He had the Renata W on for at least a second as Oriety is going to try to find something. CBL doesn't have another shield. He's not going to be able to do anything. As Slater's going to be able to put some additional damage into CBL as they trade 1-for-1 on the bottom side of the map. And it's actually CBL that got the kill against Biob, which is a very tragic circumstance, as that means that it's an advantage towards Slater here. Killer Queen stuck around on the top side, I think, just to crash the wave to buy some time for Nagia, but across the map, plays happening in a couple of places.
Okay, now I can answer to this answer. I promise that I already planned this. This matchup in the bot lane is the key for Genius, because as Recollect mentioned, Rakan has a hell of a hard time playing into this matchup. Here we see that the initial engage Biob can do really lethal, and then Slater eventually takes over and drops the Oriety. So overall, the trade is favorable for Genius, and this bot lane is where they need to make things happen, and the Killer Queen being caught.
Yeah, Killer Queen getting caught, throws the Q. CBL super low already inside of this fight. Killer Queen is able to sneak out somehow through multiple members, and no dive to come through because Slater is actually in a really bad position here. As Oriety, he's going to be able to get the auto attack. I think he was. I think the seismic shove was there, but the spell shield blocked it. Yeah, like you said.
Wow. Okay, so yes, Genius needs to, get prio in the bot lane, try to invade, and make it really hard for Riot to just, stay in the bot lane and wave clear, because they're always threatened by the dive, and also force Killer Queen to come in the bot lane to defend, to cover. And this could be, what Genius need to leverage if they want to win 40 minutes. Otherwise, they're going to run into this like endless wall of wave clear, which is really hard for them to pierce, because again, they drafted another composition that has negative range. So towers are a mirage for them if they don't manage to, break them before the 30-minute mark.
Certainly the case that it will be difficult, and it compounds further with that idea once again that like neither of these teams have really good comeback type mechanics, and that's one of the big ones that is definitely lacking from the side of Genius Esports. As CBL tries to make a flash play into the mid lane, he's going to burn Blaze's flash, or my apology, it wasn't a flash from CBL, it was just a flash from Blaze's to get out of that circumstance. This actually buys a good amount of space for Glory to potentially get it back in here against Blaze's Talia. She hasn't had to use. He had to burn the TP very early in this game, if you remember, after that level 1 that came through. It hasn't had it and is about to get it back up. So if he can clear one more wave, TP back in, we'll be able to continue to put some pressure into the Talia. As CBL, once again, sticking around to put pressure onto Blazes. Once again, buying space for Glory to get the back, though, as feeling confident that Ariadne is going to be okay on the bottom side.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust CBL in Wall Street or something, because he's buying... space
actually,
for Glory.
Oh my goodness. I didn't think it was actually going to work out.
Yeah. Great stuff from Glory and Killer Queen. Yes, as I said, CBL is buying space for Glory, but look at the bot lane. 20 CS down almost. Ariety has been sold. So stock market not really playing on Genius advantage for the moment. But now let's see if, the investment on Glory pays off.
All right, Biob is going to have the W readily available. We saw this last time as Slater hits level 6. That's Ariety hitting level 6 as well. He's going to have the speed up. Do they have the damage for it? CBL has to get out of dodge just as fast as possible. He's going to have the Lash Durkin. And that's going to be it for Ariety winning the bottom side play. And on top side, Coden's going to go down as well, as somehow Team Wales are finding plays across the map. We're going to do a relook at what happened right here as the Gia just completely whiffed the ultimate, pushed him right into Killer Queen.
Rebel, what did you not say at the beginning of this game?
What have I done? What have I done? I'm so sorry. Coded bad, but it's too late. We already saw what happened last time.
It's too late. It's too late. He's already 20 CS down, 1 kill down, 1 plate down. There's already a massive amount of gold onto this Gwen, and, she was already really hard to deal with in game 1, and it's not getting any easier in this game 2 here.
Yeah, it's been like Yijin tried to push the jungle matchup in a really good position. I think from basically minute 1.
Look at Yijin and CBL.
Okay, Yijin, CBL once again kind of in the right circumstance. On the bottom side of the map, you can see both both supports kind of there. Killer Queen's going to run right through the middle. This is an invade that kind of got caught out by CBL there. Can't really do much about it at the moment, at least. CBL is able to slip out over top of the pillar very easily as Yijin wants more. Okay,
Keeps
that's pretty bold. Okay, double bold. Blazes throws the wall in. It's not going to do anything, though.
Okay, so this means more agency to Slater.
Yeah.
To clear the wave, bring it, crash it into the wave. Ariety is really being starved. Okay, he has 3 kills, so he's not in any bad position, but he's really being starved out of the CS. And Slater, it's starting to get, big gap.
Glory and Blazes have been trading blows the majority of the laning phase, and after that last flash got burned through, obviously Glory was able to pick up an assist for Killer Queen. But so far, I mean, given the fact that Genius feels like they have a good amount of control in this game, it's been Team Wales that have picked it up. Like you said, 3 kills on the bottom side from just a couple of skirmishes that went really well. The fact that Killer Queen has not fallen victim to the Trundle into the Poppy matchup, he's gotten away with a lot of things that normally a Trundle would be able to punish a lot further, just off the back of really good play. And now Coded getting dove again.
What the hell? Coded, you knew the Killer Queen was there.
Yeah.
Also, another great dive. Well done by Team Wales. But, see, this is why I want 200 total minutes in this series, because as a color caster, I can get the chance to say 3 whole sentences without an action happening, right?
Fair enough, yeah, fair enough. I've been there. I've done that. It just happens every single week.
You know the feeling.
I do know the feeling, and it's nice to finally get some option here where telecaster can say something. But I was really surprised, that Killer Queen didn't pop the red tail.
Really bad.
Not great.
Killer Queen is still there.
Nagia is going to have Ignite soon, too, so that means if he can bait him into a fight, although TP is going to be up for Nagia as well, so maybe he just wants to TP a run back into lane, as this was the play. Killer Queen was just on the hover. I don't know why the ward went right there. I assume he meant to put it over top of the wall, didn't see it, he went, whatever, and then dies because of it, as part of it. I was also confused because Killer Queen had Rift Herald. He could have just popped that tower, but I suppose they want to keep bullying that, so he gives him the illusion of freedom by being like, oh, you've got a tower here. There's no threat on the tower. You got 2 whole plates left. It's fine.
The illusion of safety in this like almost 30 CS gap in the top lane. And already we're seeing, again, more action. Killer Queen, Yijin both in the mid lane trying to tip the scales in favor of either the Azir or the Talia, because of course there will be at a point where skirmishes get started where both the Azir and the Talia, they are really useful and they're going to make the difference. And you want to be ahead of this matchup in order to, consequently win the skirmishes. So I understand both teams giving a lot of attention to this mid lane on both sides.
To me, what happened in the mid lane is just that, like, Talia wants to roam, and the cool part about what happened was that Killer Queen put enough resource into mid lane that Azir was able to get onto wave clear breakpoint, where Blazes couldn't quite get out of lane nearly as much, right? The force wall on bottom side was kind of read really easily and was already kind of defensively postured because of Yijin's presence in the bottom side. And so because of that, like, they just haven't been able to do anything with Talia, and also from that, Glory's up 20 CS, 21 CS as an Azir. It's a free laning phase where the wave clear has come into massive play because there just hasn't been action across the map for Talia. No setup. I think our desk talked about that as we got into game. That, like, again, the Talia setup just wasn't there. Slater's getting absolutely ripped to pieces by Ariety. And on the other side of it, Biob kind of pushed off by Killer Queen, who's going to drop the plates in bottom side. And Ariety, who has 3 kills, is now going to get plates dropped into his favor as well. And this wave gets dumped as well. Blaze is going to be able to be here and pick up the wave. I guess there's that little bit of comeuppance, but I mean, it has just been all Team Wales this game.
Indeed, they're already like 4K ahead. And what most important...
He's dead. I don't care.
Wow.
What's most important?
Okay. Killer Queen. Yeah, what's most important is they have been forcing skirmishes all over the place. I don't know when the last time Killer Queen, entered into a camp and farmed it properly. Look, he's just going in.
He just does what he wants. Yeah. Ultimate pop from Slater. He's going to get knocked up, and CBL is going to be able to run out very effectively right there. Slater's trying to catch up with the rest of his team. He flashes in to try to get something, but it's just not going to work all that well. Q is going to slow him down. It should be enough. Killer Queen does have to flash over the wall. Slater goes in aggressively. He's going to have the W. He's going to be able to get a kill, but he's too low health to actually do anything else. And Biob also has the support. He's down to 1/3 of his health bar. They could just stay to get the tower. Once again, a kill as Nagia and Coded back at it again on the top side, but does it even matter? Nagia wins again.
And then mid lane
we're not even done. Mid lane. Also, Shove is going to get a stun off onto Glory. Ultimate is going to knock away the Trundle. What is Yijin to do in this situation? In fact, Glory, I think, faces his chances against the Talia. He has more than enough damage. The rocks are not going to be enough. Tries to find 5 more on the other side. Soldiers reposition. Flash is going to get him. It's Glory. Glory wins that fight as everywhere on the map, Wales takes a dub.
Let's go. Like, my whole salary is going to my cardiologist after today. Team Wales off of that. Okay, yeah, we saw this. Killer Queen really aggressive. Now, the play is over. CBL doesn't think so. Eventually, they run out of the wave, so they need to evacuate. Killer Queen still keeps going in, and this jump by Slater is a lasagna of bad. Like, he gets pinned into anything. And, BOB is there to, bail him out, as the skill says. But eventually, another trade in the top lane goes in the favor of a Nagia here. Coded, I don't know what outplay he sees. There's like more than 600 HP. And off the back of this, I also want to highlight that Team Wales got both towers on top lane and bot lane. This is really big and, balloons the gold lead to almost 8k gold lead, 9k
Coded
now.
on a flank right here. CBL actually picks the perfect position to go with the Recon ultimate. They're going to be able to pick up Coded on the backside, and they're going to be able to go the other direction as Nagia's ultimate, or teleport, my apologies, to get him into the backline is more than enough for the damage to come through. As Ariety just cleans up too with just the shuriken throws. They make an aggressive play up at Genius Esports, not even close to making that one happen. They're down 10k at 15 minutes. This is certainly the fastest game of the day. I know both of us were hoping for like the 100 minutes of gameplay, but honestly, I think if this one breaks 30, it'd be a little bit surprising given just how far ahead Team Wales is at this point.
we were definitely not expecting the bot lane to tip so heavily in the favor of Wales. All right, he was pressured on lane. He was forced out of so many waves and of so many plates in the bot lane, and eventually, as soon as the scoreboard pops up, I think he's been allocated like 5 kills in the time span of 15 minutes, which is huge. This 6, 1, and 3 is his scoreboard. He already almost has 2 full items, while Slayer barely has 1. So this Sivir is going to reach the 50 minutes potential that we all want to see, but 20 minutes earlier.
It's a pretty great situation to find yourself in. If you're Team Wales, you have 30 CS of advantage in mid lane, you got 40 CS of advantage in top lane, you got all this command. And again, I want to give something to GE, which is I think that the early game was played well by Yijin, but the fact that the Poppy was just completely unbent by all of the additional things that were done by Yijin in an attempt to punish the matchup just didn't work out. So I'm going to give props to Killer Queen, because normally we see him as this massive playmaker, right? He's the talent player, he's the damage dealer, he's all of this for his team. A Poppy's not a champion you usually expect him to grab up, and yet here he is absolutely eating this team alive on this Poppy pick. With the Rift Herald and the Sun Disc behind them, they actually feel confident to step up. They're going to get the whole mid inhibitor at 16 minutes into the game, which is a bold call because normally you'd just be delivering CS. But here, might be going for top a kill shot pretty early on. Yeah, top lane's also going to get run down.
So I hope this is a moment of epiphany for Killer Queen. You don't need damage to be aggressive. You can play initiations, you can play tanks, you can play crowd control, and I hope this is what unlocks, Team Wales' true potential, and eject them into the play of range. And caught out.
Actually, really great play around that repose coming through as Coded ends up getting out because of that W coming out as well. But fortunately, nobody really falls any victim right there. The pillar and the seismic shove used at exactly the same time to make sure that that was not going to go anywhere, as the top lane aggression is not going to lead to basically anything, just the Sivir ultimate, a couple of other cooldowns burnt across the board from Team Wales, as ultimately they can step out. They're still at a 10k advantage. They're still the ones in pretty decent command of this game. The only thing is neutral objectives have been completely silent in this game. We're still 2 minutes out from a Baron, and we are at 2 dragons in this one clockwork. So maybe we do still have a 15-minute timer before we end up getting to maybe call it on this one, at least so far.
Okay, I think dragons are now going to be very relevant in this game, but Team Wales, now that they have reset, they have a good chance, after clearing the mid lane with the super minions, and the top lane also, they have a very real chance to just move into Baron, set up their vision, and in 1 minute 30, come up for the tea party at the Baron. So I expect them now to chill down for a bit and then, force a team fight against Genius. They are so much ahead that they can force literally any kind of team fight, and it will be in their favor. Look at the item gap. I think the Glory has just completed his second item, while Talia is, quite behind, just sitting on a blasting one. And Leandri, so definitely nothing that this mid lane can provide for Genius. And
not at all. And I really like, actually, that it's a DPS build from Glory, because it's not something you see all the time. Usually you go for more like poke base, you go for more like soldiers get queued in, get an auto attack, something like that. But here goes for attack speed, so they can really go for the Baron at 20 minutes as soon as possible. As they're giving a bottom inhibitor, just run directly at it, and nothing is really going to stop this team. What are you supposed to do? Slater didn't pop ultimate quite yet, doesn't quite have the range, doesn't want to commit to anything here, as Ariety's going to deliver these last couple of shots to the bottom inhibitor. And again, if they're setting up for Baron, if they're setting up for Dragon, it's going to be easy enough to grab one of those objectives. I think if you go for both, it could be problematic, but now waves in bot and mid at the same time looking for something, as Glory's going to be able to find one assassination immediately. That ultimate from the Renata basically hit nobody, as Ariety wants to put in some more damage, as Nagia is going to clamp off Coded as best as possible, as this is actually a decent fight coming through from the side of Genius Esports, as Nagia is on the other side. He's going to try to win it himself, as Killer Queen gets one on the other side. Nagia is going to go down, as now Team Wales have thrown away a fight in the base of Genius. And just as we're saying that this one is probably going to look good for them, they give up so much, and now Baron at 20 minutes is on the table for this team, Clockwork.
Holy hell! I was already counting in my head, okay, how many minutes I've been robbed? Maybe around 140, but no! Okay, so this is quite easy. Take the inhibitor, leave.
Run.
Baron is spawning soon.
Leave.
But now they see Blazes, and they really want to kill him. They managed to do so. Renata ultimate here zones everyone. CBL is dead, and the Zeri. Look at Zeri. Just flashes in to everyone and whittles them down. That's been an incredible comeback fight from Genius. It was also an incredible, lapse of judgment on on the side of Wales, and the gold gap has been cut in half. It's only 5k lead from 10, almost 12k. How is that possible?
Yeah, see, and now another really big problem with this is that, number one, there's no Dragon Soul to be taken for at least 10 minutes after this one right now, so 31 minutes is the closest time we're going to have, and because they popped mid and bot inhibitor, there's no threat of those waves really doing anything with the Baron buff, but you can collect those minions literally all day on the side of Genius Esports, and so they're being hand-delivered gold for absolutely nothing, all off the back of Team Wales. Again, I assume they wanted to go for Baron. They saw a kill shot. They tried it. It did not work in the slightest. If they had just played patiently, they would have gotten away with a very quick game, probably been close to ending it by this point. But unfortunately, they bleed just the right resource back to the side of Genius to keep them involved in a game like this. Still down a pretty significant amount, and especially because Team Wales is starting to bear down on top lane.
This is one of those moments where if you're Blazes, you just type in the team chat, DW we scale, even if it's a blatant lie, because you have an Azir and a Sivir on the other side that can scale infinitely, basically. But you just, just to reassure and chill in the mid lane.
Okay, Glory tries to find a slide. He's not able to get anything. As Yijin is just bringing him down individually. Slater has the W. Will he be able to reset? He will not. Instead, it's the Gia who's on the front line, who's going to be able to put in a bunch of damage. And nobody's gone down on the side of Wales. There's going to be a second one going down as it's coded. Blazes is still alive to be able to put out damage if the time is right. The Baron buff minions are not making this easy for Wales, as they're able to pop basically, or at least almost, the third inhibitor, but they're not going to stick around for it. Maybe they will. Ariety is not done with this quite yet. Wants to pop just enough. TP is going to be here as well. I think they want to close this one out. Mid lane inhibitor is going to go down as well. Killer Queen's going to run down by minions, as that's a couple of minion autos are going to come through. It's not quite going to bring him down, and that's going to be that.
Baron minions.
Yeah, they nearly killed him.
So fat. It's so early in the game that even if you have an Azir and a Sivir and a ton of wave clear, the Baron minions are so fat that they're not going down. And Killer will almost die to the little ice cream balls that the Canyon minion was. Now, however, you have double lanes of super minion, so Genius has no way to get out of their base. No. Pandemic is almost over here in the West, but lockdown for Genius Esports.
It's a rough position now with 3 inhibitors down. It's going to be near impossible to wave clear. That's a TP going into bottom lane as they're trying to, I believe, catch out Blazes, but he's going to ghost just to get away from that one gank on the bottom side. As you can see, the menacing amount of damage and the menacing team fight that's still available from Team Wales, despite having given up the Baron buff, to the point where they have very limited number back, and especially with 3 inhibitors down, it's still tough. They might just walk in and say, hey, we will hands check you to see if we can just close out this game right here and right now, because they don't want to wait for those dragons to come through. They don't want to give opportunities for for scaling or anything like that from Genius Esports. And so the siege begins.
Okay. It's Blazes against several waves of super minion. Notable point, even if he sits at 0 and 4, he managed to complete his second item, which is an Archangel staff. So he has plenty of damage, at least against him. No, not plenty, but he has some damage.
More than
correction. At least against the minions.
Okay. A little bit of damage back and forth. I think they're just trying to synchronize waves to the best of their abilities. As Killer Queen tanks a seismic shove. Rock's getting thrown in every once in a while. That's going to be Glory. He goes into zone. He's just as fast as possible. As that's going to be Blazes getting brought down pretty much immediately. Slater on the back line is the only real damage threat left. Glory's going to miss the ultimate, and he's not going to tag him as Slater is still up inside of this fight with the ultimate active. He's going to throw in damage. He's going to try to find a Riot. CBL is going to get on top of it, but the damage is already down, and that means Genius is going to hold again.
It's triple kill for Slater. I cannot believe it. They did it twice. They did it once. They did it again. And Team Wales, with the double waves of minions, they cannot ride these waves. What in the absolute hell is happening here?
This is unreasonable. I'm feeling myself. I like. There's a word that will be used by me eventually if this game goes too far because I'm feeling it. Unfortunately, have to be used, and it's going to mean that I'm going to be kicked off broadcast for some time. But what I can say is that they are driving me to the edge of my seat much more than I think any other team, and especially for two teams that are sitting near the bottom of the standings. This is so exhilarating.
Okay, so my doctor is going to diagnose me with a facial paralysis because I cannot stop smiling. I have an hysterical smile painted on my face. It's turned to stone. But anyway, now I really want to see a replay. Mm-hmm. What the hell did Biob do? He flashed in with a Renata and won the fight.
He did.
And he probably didn't even die. My brain is not enough. I'm turning into a sponge.
It's tough. Yeah. The biggest thing, two things, is number one, I don't know what happened to Nagia, but Nagia just got completely removed from that. I think, again, like you said, off the back of the Flash Ultimate from Biob, but again, I'd have to go back and watch it. The other big one is no one was really able to get to Slater, and Slater is putting out some damage on this Zeri right now, making it very, very easy to work from front to back when the time comes, as the gold lead has gone from 10,000 at only 15 minutes into the game to 3,000 gold clockwork. VCS is famous for giving up 10k plus gold leads in a number of situations. I've seen, Overpower did it back when I first started in 2020. I've seen Saigon Buffalo do it when they were in playoffs up against GAM in that game 3 situation. And here, once again, Team Wales on the precipice of falling victim to that exact same problem.
Okay, so now Baron for Wales. They're going to move there, and since we're here for the long run, apparently I can also try to say something, some useful analysis. Wales do not have enough crowd control to pin down both Blazes and Slater, and they've been focusing Blazes because he's the wave clear. But when it comes to the rest of the team fight, Slater can just zoom left and right unchecked, and Team Wales have been punished twice because of this. And it's really, that has to change.
Yes.
Focus Slater first, and let Blazes do whatever he was doing on Natalia.
Beelining for this base right now. They are just they do not want to take this game any longer. And I do worry they keep throwing these attempted kind of closing punches, like they're throwing haymakers and missing for the most part. And because of that, I feel like they're getting gold, I guess is the anatomy to like being exhausted in this particular case. But I feel as though if this push specifically doesn't work, the mental has gone down the absolute trash heap. As
Killer
that's going to
Queen.
be an attempted play on a Coded, who's stuck in a very bad situation right now. Inhibitor on the top side has gone back. Mid lane should be up any second now, as well as bottom lane is also available as Killer Queen. He's going to kick him out. Yijin is going to go after. He's going to be able to find Killer Queen. That's 1 kill down. VL going to be able to help things out. Yijin is fighting up against Nagia. That's going to be CBL helping out as well. As he's going to be able to close down Blazes, who is here and basically got nothing done. As once again, we are down to only 2 members remaining inside of this one, Coded and Slater. The only 2 remaining members of Genius Esports. As Team Wales has everything else, I feel like they don't even need to really fight this. They just need to make sure the waves are crashing. They shouldn't have enough to close things out. As on the outskirts of this fight, they have to find something. Cody's going to be able to jump in with the riposte. It's not going to get much as Slater pops the ultimate to try to get something, and it's not going to get enough here. Or my apologies, Team Wales is not going to bide their time.
Slater,
or they're going to
Slater versus everyone.
It's Slater versus the world right now. W gets popped. Coda did get a reset on the health bar. He has the ultimate still active. Has to find some damage. Has to be able to find go in. Oh, he's going to get to the right. He's going to find it, but it doesn't matter. As Nagia has more than enough damage. He and